All right. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the first ever Broker Scale live video. I want to thank my colleagues here, and let me just real quickly introduce myself, and then introduce my three colleagues that have given of their time to join me this morning. My name's Daniel Maybaum. I own a company called Answer Home Loans. I want to allow my three colleagues a moment to introduce themselves, and then we can kind of dive right in and hopefully provide some great content for you. Russell, let's start with you.
Yeah, so I got into the business in 15, kind of focused on social media, conventional FHA, VA, USDA. Never really got too into non-QM stuff, but that's kind of what we do. North Carolina and South Carolina are where we're at. We're about to expand out. We have Florida and Indiana as well, but about to expand out into Virginia and Georgia. So just like a small Southeast mortgage brokerage, but growing pretty rapidly this year with rates going up. Everybody from retail kind of coming over to broker. So that's helped us a lot.
Nice. Thank you. David?
Yeah, David Temko, C2 Financial, based out of Southern California. We're in about 23 states and expanding through a lot more. And we've got about 100 plus lenders, so really provide all products from lenders, wherever they're the most competitive and where our loan officers need to find loans for their borrowers.
Nice. Thank you. And Atrion?
Yeah, Atrion and Fela, Northport Funding. We are licensed in 14 states, and I came over to this side after being a broker. Honestly, I started in 2004. Thought I would never be a broker again. Was in retail for about 13 years, and then came back and started in the broker channel in 2019.
Nice. All right. And yeah, I think as we kind of go through stuff, like what we're going to do today is sort of talk about something that I'm really passionate about, and that is sort of defining your passions when you start your brokerage, and so I think each of us will have an opportunity to talk a little bit more about our individual companies and define how we structured them and things like that. So I think it's going to be great. Let's dive in. We kind of preset a few questions, but again, feel free to expound upon each of these and talk more about your individual companies, because I know I don't know a ton about each of your companies, but I am very interested in learning more about you guys and how you run your business and whatnot. So to begin with, and I'll just toss this out, and whomever would like to pick up the torch and start, feel free. When each of you started your individual brokerages, how did you define the value proposition that you were going to deliver to the loan officers that you were seeking to hire? Do you want to, Atrion, do you want to start with that, with how you did that in Northport?
I mean, the big thing for me coming from the retail channel over to the broker channel was speed, transparency, and then just the ability to execute without a bunch of hands in the pot. I think, I'll be honest, when I switched over from retail to broker, I went to UWM as my first place to visit. And I got to be honest, I thought there was no way in hell I was ever going to be able to figure out that system to close a loan. And it seems funny looking back on it, but coming from retail and then having full autonomy to control your loan from the beginning to the end and sharing that with others, it's still to this day something that they still can't wrap their heads around coming from retail over to broker, just the amount of flexibility and speed. And so the big thing for us was speed, execution, transparency, and that's been kind of the big win for us.
Nice. And this was in 2019 when you came back into the broker channel?
Correct.
Cool. David, how about you?
For me, it's always been to provide a strong platform that empowers loan originators to be successful with unbeatable loan products, gold star compliance, and an engaged community. And I think having a vast array of different lenders and being a true broker allows you to deliver, the best products in the market, regardless of conditions, because one lender could be in and the most competitive, and then loan officers fill loans in their bucket and then they pull out of the market. So you're constantly finding, bobbing and weaving and be able to find the best lender for whatever your client's needs in that moment. And our platform engages them to optimize and grow their independent business so they can improve the lives of their clients. That's always the end value, is really how can a loan officer deliver the most to a borrower or a client.
Yeah, it's funny that we're on this panel today because David, you're kind of a more recent member of this group. But when my ex business partner and I set out to start Answer, your model was very much something that we looked at as something to emulate. Obviously, your company is very well known and very successful, and so I'm always reminded of this quote from Steve Jobs. He has this quote that I always hearken to, and it's "Smart people borrow, but geniuses steal." And that's always been something that I've thought about because there's so many great companies out there, and it's hard to say you're gonna put something together that's completely never seen before. And so I will admit that your company was very formative, and when we were forming Answer, we looked at your company as a model.
I can't remember the exact quote, but I'll take it as I'm flattered, right?
Yeah. Russell, tell us about Grow Mortgage and how you came about.
Yeah, so when
value prop.
Yeah, when we started, it's just me. I'm the only owner, but when I started it was where would I want to work, and I've kind of kept that that mindset of it of if I were an originator, what would I want me to do? And I still actively originate. The model for us isn't so much like let me tell you about Grow. It's more about let me show you how Grow can build your business, because the goal is, right, we're brokers, we're independent. Why would you work somewhere else, or why would you open your own broker shop when you could plug into this? So we give pretty much the majority of the comp to the LO. We support the hell out of the LO. And then quarterly, we show them, big on transparency, we show them where all of that money that the company kept from them went back into them. So we're really like, I guess our model that we're pushing is it's easier to work here, and it's oftentimes more profitable than opening a shop, just because you don't have to worry about compliance, you don't have to worry about support, you don't have to worry about marketing. So I've always said our value has to outweigh our split. So for what those LOs are giving back to the company, they couldn't go out and go buy that same amount of value that we're providing. So we're always just looking for ways to innovate and listen to those loan officers and make it just a place that we would want to work at.
I love that quote. Our value must outweigh our split. That's great. I'm writing that down. It's a good one. All right. So when each of you initially set out to open your brokerages and define that value proposition, I'm sure you guys took in a number of different things into account. Obviously pricing and support and company culture are three, really important aspects. When you rank those categories, or when you initially ranked those categories, where would you rank those three things in terms of importance when you were starting out? And
well, I think by the nature of our loan officers initially is they're very independent, they're seasoned, they're leaving a culture that they didn't really align with anymore, whether it be, it's kind of a continuum where a loan officer starts at a retail setting and they're sitting at a branch, or they're getting leads, and they're, having a split that's like a 50-50 split or whatever that might be. And they've got the water cooler and they got all that stuff, and they build their book of business and they kind of hone in their craft. By the time they move through kind of their career, we've always attracted folks that have been seasoned and have their book of business, or have their kind of, their referral partners. So culture wasn't crazy important at that time. It was just really the support in the fact that we were providing things that they didn't want to do, which was compliance and all the lender applications, all this stuff that was just really tedious work that we could take off their plate so they could focus on what they're really good at, which was, delivering a good client experience and service to their customer. I think that's still paramount, but I think now more than ever, we're really growing and building on our culture, which is kind of what I'm working on pretty diligently, just because I think people generally like to align with the tribe. There's a lot of different shops out there, and it's really finding that place that you feel the most comfortable with, that has that winning mindset and people that you align with, that you can, you're on the right team. Kobe Bryant's a badass, and everybody around him plays a better game when they're on his team. So I kind of have that feel, and that's really important to me now, is really building that culture, but also executing on, of course, pricing. People say pricing isn't everything. It's, but people shop. People have a lot of information at their fingertips, and if you quote a rate, they're going to go double check that unless they just walk in blindly and trust you, which is possible, but you want to make sure you deliver the best pricing, the best product, and the best service. And I think that that's all important, and the culture is key for me. I'm really a big fan of that.
Yeah. Yeah, I always like that quote, iron sharpens iron. Like if you're in an environment with a lot of successful people, I think it's going to, help benefit you. And so, yeah, that's awesome. Who wants to jump on this one? Who's got something to add?
So for us, it was always the biggest thing that I wanted was support for the loan officer. We were going after seasoned, a lot like David here, a lot like seasoned LOs. We didn't want like a brand new LO because we didn't have the infrastructure to train them and that kind of thing. So support was number one for me. We doc the loan for you. We submit the loan for you. We clear the conditions for you. We reach out to the borrowers. We handle your nurturing, and not just on the loan side, we're going to handle all of your marketing. We're going to assist you with that with videos and graphic design. So the support was always number one for us, just making their lives easier as an originator and providing that value to them. Pricing for us, I would say, was probably not the least important, but out of those three, it was the least important because in my mind, there's no benefit to being the second cheapest person in your marketplace, right? So there's always going to be someone cheaper. The pricing just needed to be sharp enough to be competitive. We're killing every retail lender out there on this price, and we're 200 bits better than them. Really, the only way anyone's going to outprice a broker is going with another broker at a lower margin, right? So
Right.
for us, pricing wasn't like number one, but it was support. And then I would say culture is number two, just finding people that were the right fit for us, that embodied what we do. I mean, we do a ton of charity. We do a ton of like community work. Our company was founded on giving the consumer the absolute best mortgage we could give them with the lowest price and the most seamless process, and rebuilding the communities that we're serving. So, we do a ton of stuff with homeless shelters, with different charities across, just the states that we're in. So when our originators go out, they're getting support. They can go out to these people and say, hey, it's more than just a loan. And that does help overcome a little bit of the pricing if they run into that issue. Is you're not just selling a mortgage now, you're selling like, hey, we're doing a ton of work with your local school. Like your kids get a better education when you go through us. So I would say, if I had to rank them, it would be support, culture, and then pricing as a close third.
Nice. Atrion, tell us about Northport.
I ranked brand number one. I felt like if we were going to start a mortgage company, we needed to, how do you say it, graffiti the internet with the new mortgage brokerage. I'm in the mecca of mortgage in Minneapolis. We've got US Bank, Wells Fargo, home base mortgages here. So competing in that space is tough. Granted, Wells Fargo has 67 to 70% of the market share in our current market right now. So the first thing for us was just graffiti the internet and do Google reviews, right? And so some of those small things didn't seem very big, but we're at 200 plus 5-star Google reviews. We've been around for just under 3 years. I think that's a pretty big win for us. Pricing, I gotta be honest. I think on the broker side, I'm going to go with what Russell had said. The pricing thing is tough because if it's a race to the bottom, it's a commodities business and someone's always going to be cheaper. And it's really about providing good service. So we built a backbone on the processing side so the LO can hand a file off and not have to do anything, right? And I think if we allow them to do what they do best, which is go sell and get deals and grow their referral business, and we handle the rest, we're going to grow the business faster. And so that was big. And then the last one, obviously being social media, growing your business, making videos, doing things like that and helping them grow. And then building a CRM that helped them grow their business was another big thing for us. And so all those things combined help us dominate in our market.
Nice. I love that, we've got 3 people here on the panel and we've got 3 different philosophies and successful models. Like it's pretty cool seeing that, because you get so pigeonholed with your company and you think, oh, this is my way is the way, right? But then I'm talking to you guys and each of you have different approaches that are obviously proving very successful. That's awesome. Yeah. And I think like the pricing question in particular can be really regionally sensitive. Like I would imagine, like, David, I know your market is so incredibly competitive down there in Southern California, and you're also, dealing with very high home values. So I think, that might be why pricing might be a little bit more of a concern with your specific company. So it's, I think there can be some regional effects too with these types of decisions too.
Definitely.
Okay, so let's move on to question 3. I'm loving the feedback that we're getting so far. So okay, so we're all at a point now where our companies are up and running. You've brought in LOs, you're having success. How do you ensure that the people that you bring in can consistently deliver on the value proposition that you're seeking to deliver? Do you have things that you do as the owner of the company that can ensure that the LOs are continuously delivering on those value props?
I mean, right now it's going to take a tremendous amount of resiliency. We're in an interesting time, and there's folks that have been in this business with us for a long time. I started, C2 started in 2007, and I really got the company going in 2009. But we kind of rose from the ashes from a previous company that my family had. And I've been in this business for like 25 years. I grew up in the industry, so I've seen cycles. And I think a lot of folks, now have kind of come into this business. Maybe they got in 2009 or later. So they've really just seen a trajectory that's constantly gone up and, walked into 2020, 2021, which is, unprecedented times. And now it's like kind of the equalizer. So it's reminding people that this is kind of an expected thing. It's a cyclical business. It's a very sustainable business. And now it's time to get back to the basics and focus on you and your business. And I think education is a huge component of where we're going in 2023, how you can be, every day's a school day. We're all leaders here. And if we're not learning every day, we might as well quit. And I think that there's an opportunity to be better as a loan officer, as a realtor, as a more educated seller or a buyer, or even a lender. So I think all those components and just bringing together that community and kind of educating everyone, making sure that expectations are met daily is a way to kind of continue to deliver on the value, which is a platform that just takes people to the next level. And I think now more than ever, it is an engaged community. We have our C2 Connect meeting, which is, all things considered, we had one, a month ago, and the energy was the highest I've ever experienced. It was just incredible. And, people are seeing, 75% list business, but they're just still pumped. And that's what it's all about. Everybody kind of galvanizes and kind of takes it to the next level. And so I think that more than ever is a way to ensure that you can consistently deliver and you're constantly getting new lenders or bringing in lenders that are kind of, figuring out how they can figure out their capital stack and give you a better product, finding out, hey, whether it's a 2-1 buy down and educating a seller on what that needs to be in order for them to attract a buyer. There's just a lot of different things right now that everybody can learn to be better at, what they do in this market, because it's changing. It's definitely changed, and it's, going to continue to change.
Yeah, for sure. That's something I've always said. I've been around for about 20 years as well. And the only consistent thing in this market is change. So you just have to be adaptable, and you have to know as soon as you figured it out, the market will change, and it'll throw a curveball at you, and you just have to continue to roll with those punches. How about you guys? Who wants to grab the torch and talk to us about how you continue to deliver on your value proposition?
I think right now, at least for us, is staying consistent. We had some LOs in the beginning of this year that came in during the refi boom, and when the market shifted, some of them didn't shift, right? They still sat around and waited for the phone to ring, and come into the office at 10, leave at 1, go to the gym, not really doing anything, and then they started to feel the effects of not doing anything. And culturally speaking, I think I'm going to lean on David's comment. It's back to the basics. I mean, it's shaking hands, kissing babies, telling your story, showing people what you do. And I think the number one advantage for us, at least that's been helping us drive people in the door, is the broker channel has a big price advantage right now. And then the second biggest advantage, I think, is bigger than price, is speed. And so many of these folks come over from the retail side, and they cannot believe that you can clear a loan in 8 days or 10 days from start to finish. Like, it's unfathomable to them. And so getting them to lean on the capabilities that we have has been the biggest culture driver to at least get people to grow. So And making sure that they know that they can go and present that has also been very helpful for us. But I'm going to go to the flip side of this. The folks that don't want to make the calls or didn't want to do the work or don't want to do the things, a lot of those guys are going to end up back in retail again. And I kind of explain it like this. I do not want to be wearing pleated khakis from Costco with a shirt sitting in a CBRE or a Coldwell office at 60 years old trying to close loans to retire, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
And I think this channel presents that opportunity for people to have freedom and growth and be your own individual entrepreneur while being an originator, which is just a beautiful thing.
Totally.
Yeah, for us, it's I look at it as a team. The whole team, no matter how big we get, it's going to be very transparent and everybody trying to help each other. So we have like a group chat that goes into the whole company, which is 20 people at this point. But as it grows, we're going to have offshoots of like, this is a VA group chat. If you have questions, get in there. So it's very culturally, it's everybody helping each other, and it's everybody saying, hey, this is a win that I had, this is an idea that I had that sets us apart, this is something that one of my agents came up with, does anyone have an idea there? So it's a very collective just group of people that are trying to help each other and trying to help each other grow. And also, if you've got these groups and you've got these calls and you've got this value props out there, you can tell by the numbers who's a part of that, because if you're truly helping each other, you're going to pull each other up. If there's somebody that's not really making calls, somebody that's not really closing, someone that's not really moving, that person, like Adrian said, they're probably not going to be here for much longer either. But we try and get the people that we think will fit the culture when we're hiring. If you get a bad culture hire, they're probably not going to stick with you, and it's easier just not to hire them. It's easier to say no, even if they're a big producer. We turned away a $60 million producer last month because we just didn't think they would be a good fit. Some of the things they were saying in the interview, I'm like, this just isn't going to work out. And I think it's going to end up being more trouble than it's worth. We refer them to another brokerage that we think might be a better fit. But for us, we would rather have a cultural fit than hire somebody in that's just going to mess with that, because they may bring, 60 million in, but if they're weighing everyone else down, it kind of offsets that. Right. So for us, it's just hiring people that we think will fit the culture. And then you'll know pretty quickly if they do.
Yeah. Awesome. That's impressive that you're able to turn away that business. I don't know if I could do the same. All right. Anything else? You guys got anything additional to add? You think anything we may have missed?
I think right now it's really important to recognize, like, your past clients and your current clients, they come to you as a financial advisor. I mean, you're helping them with one of the biggest decisions they've made or making in their life. And maybe you probably helped them in 2020 or 2021, got them like a 2 or a 3%, 4% interest rate. Well, that's probably not touchable until they have a life change. But there's no question about it. They're going to come back to you and they're going to say, hey, you did such a great job on my loan for when I bought or when I refinanced, and you saved me some money, and that's just been incredible, whatever that might be. But now I need help with this, or I need help with that. And it's important to make sure that you have the ability to diversify and make sure that you can capitalize on what they're, on providing them value. And that could be, whether it's reverse mortgages, commercial mortgages, helping on sales. It's interesting times, and I think they're going to you as a full financial and real estate resource. And I think it's important to continue to deliver that to them wherever you're at, wherever they're at in their life. So I think that's really important. You're not just a forward loan, mortgage originator. You're really a financial advisor for them, and they're going to lean on you for that. And you should continue to kind of, appreciate the opportunity to be so.
Yeah. One thing that I share with my team, and part of me hates making statements like this because it does feel kind of retail-y as I define it, but closing loans and earning commissions is not your job. It's a byproduct of your job, right? And so right now we're in an environment where that byproduct is way down, right? We're working 5 times as hard for a quarter of the money, which is unfortunate, right? But we can only control what we can control. And so, your job is the things that you do daily to create relationships and those types of things. And then closing loans and commissions are a byproduct of that. And so I think so many LOs get into this pattern where they think, oh, well, I'm not going to work because I don't have a lot to do. And it's like, well, no, that's when you should work, even harder. So, you know, that's just something that I'll share with my people, you know, to try to keep people's spirits up and motivated and whatnot. But you know,
Absolutely. And I think it goes without saying, like, nobody works for free. And I think that being a broker and being transparent and delivering that value and showing the borrower, like, hey, these are the costs and I'm going to deliver it. They go, oh, I get it. There's nothing hidden there. They see it, they appreciate it, they know it, and you're not packing any punches. And I think that's you know, that's what we do. We just deliver value, and it's pure transparent. There's no padding and all that stuff where, you know, you walk into a bank and you get the rate of the day and you don't even know how it works. You just, you know, oh, I have money here and expect to get the best thing. But if you don't go to a broker, you don't know what else is out there. You don't know what your options are. You're not sure if you're really getting the best, you know, the best deal that's the best structured the best way for you. So it's just all about getting the mindset to change that, oh, I need to buy a home or I need to refinance. I need to go to a bank. It really is going to a broker because they have the ability to go to those banks, but they also have the ability to go to a lot more places and make sure you have, you know, you're in the best place.
totally. Banks have their place, but you know, when you're working with a broker, you're working with someone that's very specific for what you're trying to accomplish, and certainly the most knowledgeable, no doubt.
I guess I'd throw one last thing in there. Brokers give hope. I mean, how many people do your LOs talk to today that get turned down from a bank, that there is an option on the broker channel? And I think that's another thing to go back to leaning on the bank, you know, the rate of the day. Some of those guys, they can track so much in the marketplace, whereas the broker channel just allows you to give that vast opportunity to take every consumer and give every single one of them a really good shot at getting that home or getting into that house or doing whatever they're looking to achieve. And again, you are a financial advisor. I'd argue that our role is more important than their financial advisor, given the fact that they lean on us for so many financial questions and we get all that information. So, you know, I believe the broker channel is the best place to be an originator, and aligning with a good culture just makes it that much better.
Absolutely. Well, guys, I want to thank you guys. I'm very excited to have been able to learn more about your companies and you know, get some history about each of your companies. You know, I think this was great today, and I want to thank you for, you know, basically donating your time to help other brokers in the community. It just goes to show what a cool thing we're building here with expanding on this community. And so thank you guys for taking some time today to record this video with me, and I look forward to doing more with you guys in the future.
Absolutely. Thank you guys.
Cool. All right. Thanks.